Hi, good morning, everyone. So, we're going to talk about today system to server public private key infrastructure. So, let's move to this. And we are on the system. We have one system. This is our system where we are have. So, this is my system, and we're going to connect with the server. We have one server, Linux server, and I'm going to log in this. No user and password already shared with you. So we are into the server, and I don't okay, just I want IP same LAN we are there or not. Have 192.168.56.12. So this is the server, the static IP with the LAN, not from DSL, static. Let's move, and I'm going to ping that 192.168.50.12. This is server is stable. So, and I'm going to open the putty because I can't copy paste anything using the console. So putty is the good system by which I can copy paste server. Linux, let me load this. Supports. This is 12. So I'm going to open SSH using the putty, and that's going to work. Here I can copy paste the command easily because in server console I'm not a PR on. Okay, as to understand, this is my server which I took, and this is my local system. Okay, where we want. So I want to take the SSH. SSH, the user also on the 192.168.12. So this is my server. Okay, again they ask me fingerprint because the first time they are doing, and they're going to show this known host on host and password. I'm going to, we are inside the server. You can see this is inside, so I'm able to log in. Okay, I'm not going to work because both are showing beam. I'm going to exit, and I'm going to be on low. So you can see the support server system by SSH working fine. Okay, clear till here, guys. Come to server part. We are on the server, and we are able to server. We have SSH? Let's see, do we have SSH folder? So I'm going to list out here, and I can see we don't have the folder. Have dot cat. We don't have dot. Cannot. So where we are in server. So we are in home direct. So here in server is a trick that there is no folder called dot. Okay, so you are going to break your head. Oh my god, there is no folder at all. But you have to hit the folder. Okay, so I'm going to make directory. That's the catch here. Server. The system you have .ssh file, but the server you don't have that folder. I'm going to .sh and directory. Let's check now. We have, so now .ssh create. Now we have to create everything. So, so what we have to create? We have to create public private key on the server. No, he going to authenticate remote. No need to create a public private. We have to just create the authorized key where they're going to store the public key, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to hit one file that is called authorized key, where we're going to create .ssh, then authorized this key stop. So we have authorized. Can you see, guys? Have this. So it's very simple. I'm going to copy my public key what we have. So we already copied to the system. The same way I'm going to copy this instead of uh, 108. I will do same public copy. Public key I'm going to copy where? My server. So ask me the password. Wrong user I given the print. No, this last user is now it's copy over there. Move to the pick tab. We'll do a pick and this copy. Same way, I'm going to add pick for cat dot dot such and then authorize. You can see there is nothing here. Now I'm going to amend id file public key appending to the now appended. Now I'm file public. Are you able to see that? Let's do. Now I'm going to this. They should not ask password. You can see we are in system without. The catch is there. Are you able to see? We are welcome to. Okay, here guys. First time questions. Only
Both
catch
are
is
like system to system, and the system to both are like same. Like you don't have
yes. The
anything.
catch is only you don't have .ssh folder.
Right.
That's all.
Yes, I mean process wise both are the same.
Of
Like
course,
there is no
process will be
difference.
same throughout the even router switch. Even if you will go the cloud, the key mechanism is different. Right now, all the Linux, that's why format also same. Only the challenge difference is that they don't have .ssh folder. You have to make the directory, and then you have sorry the file. And the system you have to create only the authorized file. Where is the server? You have to create the folder as well as file. Create. Okay, let's move to the next topic that's called router switches. The network engineer do. Okay, now so I'm going to move system for your space quick. Okay, okay. Now I'm going to run with this. These are the router switches, and this is local system. Okay, here in this this is my local, and this is router switch. So let's open the console of the router switch. So till here, before starting this, here system to system and system to server with the Linux, all the platform our work formats are same. Only the change size file you have to generate system and server you have to create the SSL. older period we are moving.
Sure.
Okay, now so let's go for R1 OUI1, R1 OUI2, R2 OUI. This is so I'm going to basic test whether we are able to SSS this, not this router. And before that, we will explore that our file system. We have dot on to list out what are the things do we have. We have authorized key tested for this, so I'm going to delete for simple. I'm going to remove the lab, remove or to proceed and file system remove, and then I'm going to remove the non host that here. Now I'm going to create on host everything in from beginning. I'm doing touch this for a file that is non on. So you see I have empty folder here and check that using that, and there is nothing. Okay, so if I will do, let's ping to R1 R2 R3. Let's look on the and whether we have DNS resolution or not hosts. So I can see we have DNS resolution R1 R2 R3. So let's ping that R1. Okay, so they are ping dot 10 192.1 dot 10 20 and 30. The router is reachable. Okay, so I'm going to generate the key using the R1 R2 R3, or you can use the IPR, but this time I'm going to the key with R1 R2. So what are the username do we have before that? Let's go running, and that is the section username on the router. How many are running? There's ASU and admin. Okay, they have sacred, but they don't have privilege. Can you see? And let me remove all the privilege authent so that there is no privilege at all for just want sacred password. Copy this. Okay, so we have only the user, no privilege. Okay, just keep in mind. So let's do SSH and then also at the rate R1. So they created because I have done the empty one. I've removed the non-host. Now they are permanently added this password. We are in. Of course, we kept intent as the what is the password? Router switch file name. router password. Password. Okay, let me change password. I'm not password again and again. I will go here and I'm to enable password. I'm going to enable secret. Real time don't do because I have already privileged access of the console. That's fine. So I'm oh, just 1 2 3. Very simple. Now let's see here. Enable password. Ah, I'm going to exit. So from here I can the R1 if I'm going to that they pop up with password. Okay, it's the same way. I'm going to do for only R1 of thing R2 R3. So here the SSH key working for the fingerprint store is the first time they are going to ask them. Now you're going to check your host at int.s unknown. That's R1. Now I want R1 as a public key. So what we have to copy, guys? Public key, right? So do we have private public key? And what are the have? So either you want to create that, you remove that. I don't want because there's a single command, you know, no need to. Just I want to see what are the at ID, ID. So this public key, can you see? And this I have the system, right? Yes, no.
Yes.
What we have doing. Let's do the copy. But while you are copying, there is a challenge in there because this is the Linux system. That challenge, the key what the router switches understand in ASCII. Second challenge, this key is in single line. When you copy and paste to the router, they will not understand because they does not support so long. This is the challenge, one of the challenge. To copy and paste this key over there, what we are doing, it's not going to work. Okay, let me show you there. So this is my public key. I'm going, because in the same system we are, I'm going to copy this key. Okay, or you just copy this, copy, and I'm going to paste in the router. Let's do the configuration. What the configuration I have to configure? I'm going to share you this. Remember, so this is, and I assume you know this part. Means we have running with the SS already version, and I tested already. For the public key infrastructure, these three commands you have to remember: the SSS public key and the username what you want history. Okay, and then you have to copy paste key string. Okay, so it's a very easy. let's configure that. The command, only the three command you have: IPSSS public key chain, username you have to define, then followed the key string. I'm going on the router. Okay, so IPSSH public have to enter. Okay, now they are asking username. What username do we need? So I'm going to give Linux NAE here. I'm giving username as Linux engineer. Now string, sorry, if a key string, that enter. Now you have to give the username, then data. I'm going to copy this from here, the starting from here, ending to this. Just copy this, enter this. Okay, now let's, can you see, if you do exit also, they are telling fail to decode the key. They don't understand this key. This is the reason the router switches don't understand. The format is not proper. Okay, format, they do not understand what format they, because the single line. So what you have to do for this? How do you copy this public? So there is some fold. You can see private key. It's a folded one. Can you see private key is a folded one? Are you able to see?
Yes.
But public key is not folded one. I need to do fold. So there is the one function app, can go for main page, and that's called fold. Fold is a, for this, wrap each input line to the specific. So there is a define, use the width of column instead of 80. 80 you can use the 80 generally, but Cisco supports 70. Put, you can use the option fold, and then this is count bytes rather than colon. I want bytes, and I want width of not 80, I want 70 standard. So what I'm going to do, hold the byte, and the width going to 72 standard, and then give your the folder. That's a catch you have to understand. Second catch, so we have id public key, the public folder. Now I'm going to enter. Now you can see earlier it was without folded, so this public key was look like single liner, where it's folded. Are you able to see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm going to copy this folded data. Simply I'm going to copy this for copy. I will go to the router, still in users, key string. You will go into the data from user to data. They are expecting. Now, after you enter, you can see each line they have accepted. If you enter and you're going to do exit, they will not give you the error, means everything is working, it's not fair. Understand that. I'm going to exit from the public key, and I'm going to check my public key, what's running on. So run Jackson public key. You can see here, so my public key is running public key chan with name is Linux network auto user. they have given the hash. This hash key, they will not show you the key. They will show what is this hash. So you have to verify this hash key. What is the hash? So I show you. So I already show you how to get the hash key. So I'm going to do the hashing public key to verify this copies are proper or not. ssh-keygen from this string printout belong to file. So you can see this is an SSSR 256, but in Linux they automatic generate this star 56, but the router don't understand. They given in MD5 as it. Okay, so you going to put MD5 hash key. The options you have to add E capital E hash or 5. So now they print the hash value starting PDF here EFT6D last 545C72 545C. So we are good to move. You understand till here?
Yes.
So only the challenge here how to copy. So you have to the format in 17 standard. Use the fold command to fold it. Your key public key private key coming in folder fold is, but you not use the private one. Then second challenge, the router switches. They understand the MD5. You have to match that. Once you confirm, let's move to this key. There is no authorized because this is public. From here, I want access. So here, how we access? Remember? So I have done R1 this, but the user name is changed now. Now let me do the username. What we have is Linux network automation. Don't do this because they will pop up with the password. Okay, because I have different user for the infrastructure, we have to use the different user. Which user do we have? You can see the key what we have with the which user. The user is Linux here. Okay, Linux, that user you have to use. Instead of that, and Linux, not Linux one, Linux one. This is the user, public key. Now you can see they did not ask me the password. Okay, they give me the authentic questions.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's the same, but just one question because in router when we were generating key, so is it not necessary because that is related to RSA? But in router when we were generating key, so I haven't seen we anywhere we have used like a public key RSA. So like it is predefined, it will be RSA because we have never used RSA command in router.
No, no, RSA command is you have to use on server. This is related to this key public key. You have to give only on router, so that using this public key, who
Mhm.
has the private key, he going to
Okay.
means you can see on router only the public key.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Okay.
This is he means router can't authenticate. Router can be authenticated using public key. This those who
Yes,
have
yes.
that private, I'm going to allow them. Now
Okay, because
my question
yeah,
is
understand.
that my question for you everyone ask, do we have this user Linux network automation engineer on the router?
No. Okay.
Let's see.
Because we had.
We
Only two
don't
user
have
level.
user, we have only two user, Asu and admin. And you are not going to say me, Asu, you are using the TechAS server, because I don't have integration. This router, they don't have that user event. They are allowing to the server. Why?
Because the server is going to send authentication packet signed with private key for which a public key is stored on the switch and is
Excellent.
associated with the same
Excellent.
username.
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, guys, I have user but different format. Can you see username? Linux Network Automation Engineer. But this is not the secret. The manual configuration user. This is a huge. This user going to use the mechanism of the public and private key. There is a user. But Astos, can I go for authentication? I have to go for enable authentication again, and I have to do. I don't want this again and again. I have to pass this parameter. I'm giving one password is okay, but can I integrate this enable password also? What you have to do? Tell me. That's my question to you all. And we have done this.
So username Linux NAE will have to have a privilege level of
Wow, excellent. Just this gives that user, like this give non-privileged, same way this is non-privileged. Just for you want to provide the privilege, just you have to configure this user as a privilege. How you have to configure as a privilege? Just username, and take that user Linux whatsoever name, and privilege what 15, just this command you give, nothing else, because this is not working on the password mechanism, because they are public and private. Just you assign the privilege. Now you say I'm going to using this from this server. We are under the privilege. Not even they ask me the password, and neither the enable password. Awesome or not?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a magic. So if this server is a my netgate server or centralized server, okay, or jump server, so we going to give this public id on entire infrastructure. Server is secure, so that the server going to log in to any of device without using the user and password over the infrastructure of public and private key. So do you understand how powerful it is, or why the infrastructure? You, I saw so many keys are running on the router because of this. And this is one of the key elements of automation. Very easy. They don't need any user and password. So, Sagar, do you remember you asked me the earlier, Castos, if you have 100 devices, we have 100 user and password. I told you password. And you
Yeah.
can remove using the public and private key. That's what you had the code. Do you remember, Sagar?
Yes, yes, yeah, I remember.
So, your questions,
Yes.
I told you we will discuss that part in the code creation. How? Here, even not now come our last section. How are we going to use in the cloud? We saw in the system to
Actually,
server, and
just
system.
check. Might be the video would be too, I guess, low.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to stop this section over here, and we're going to move to next upcoming classes. How to do this thing on cloud? That's GitHub. We will take example. Bye bye. See you in next class.